Series versus Mountain, the third and final game, the decider was actually decided by Pie Cake Lord's Camille and his awesome split push performance. So I'm familiar with what this looks like. I totally understand why they're banning this one away. Infernal going to go ahead, ban away that Jace. It worked so well for Kaizen last time around. They don't want to allow him to have it again. They also ban out the Caitlyn as Kalista is banned by Ocean.
Do you ban Ornn if you're Infernal?
That's the question.
Because, or does Pie Cake Lord feel like he can play it here?
If Pie Cake Lord feels like he can play it, you obviously leave it open.
Yeah.
And put the responsibility on Team Ocean. Nope.
Banning the
They
Trist.
go for the Trist instead, which was banned against them last time because Ocean wanted to keep it away from Noah. Ornn is banned out by Ocean. They're not willing to take the risk of having to deal with Ornn.
Oh, this leaves Ezreal up for Spica, who can affect the lanes early. This leaves Azir for Julian.
There's plenty of good picks out there.
Zaya. Oh, first pick of an AD carry would be really strange because it's been happening all day long where there are these kind of like jungle picks that are left up. But if they're taking that gamble and saying, no, Blabberfish won't take it, that's fine. It's probably because they don't want Zaya or Khan to go over as a combo to red side.
Well, plus, you saw how well Prismal performed on Zaya in game number 1. Denying that from him could be a bonus here as well specifically. Rakan is going to be locked in by the side of Ocean and Vulcan specifically. Let's see what Blabberfish goes with here, because you mentioned the Ezreal being up, and yesterday Spica actually had an awesome performance on jungle Ezreal, but it's going to be Shen that Ocean picks up.
Well, okay.
That's a little bit surprised.
Well, yeah, because Fiora is one of the top champions for Pie Cake Lord, and I feel like you'd have a field day in that lane up against Shen. The telegraphed E that you say he's going to go for it, you can counter it. Wow, okay. I wonder if they'll go for it here in terms of picking it for Pie Cake Lord, because you'll probably take more bans down the line.
Highly likely. They do pick up the Sejuani for themselves, and there's your hover, there's your lock.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. This might be just from a champion select perspective already, a fantastic game for Pie Cake Lord, contrary to what happened in the last game, where he was even on Maokai for a very long time and making plays. This is split push, win the game. Yo, this guy's Khan.
This is the Pie Cake Lord style. This is what I'm talking about this guy. But Azir locked in the mid lane for Palafox.
Yep, the Azir, something that we talked about, or I've been talking about since the beginning of this champion. It's like, will it be banned? Will it be left up? There are some counters to Azir, like Vel'Koz. And I know that Zatzmod has played it in the past. I remember it very vividly from his Florida State University days, where this guy plays pretty much everything. Maybe he'll go for the Orianna here. He can play Victor as well for wave clear.
Well, you've also got bans, right? You've got 2 bans that you can use to get rid of those Azir counters. Orianna already banned out by the side of Ocean, not wanting to have to put Palafox into that matchup. Infernal bans out the Twitch, wanting to keep Prismal off of that one. I know Prismal has played a lot of this champion in the past. He's carried a lot of games on this in the past. Makes sense to ban that one away. Syndra will be your second ban from Ocean. Still targeting that mid lane, trying to make life easier for Azir.
Yeah, and now, if I'm Infernal, I'm looking at possibly Talia, maybe Victor, Vel'Koz if I'm going down the line a bit more. Like, there are some champions that you can play here depending on the style. Cassiopeia doesn't fare too well into the Azir. Maybe Ryze, but it's a little all over the place right now.
Well, Infernal does ban Jarvan away. They don't want that there in the jungle this time around, so we will not get to see the Sejuani-Jarvan matchup again here today, unless we maybe go to game number 3.
Yeah, I think a Gragas would probably be the best here. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Because I was like, Ezreal, no, not really. You want something that's going to be durable, and they have Engage, they have Split Push, they have Team Fighting, and Wave Clear on Ocean side. You can pretty much round this out with any AD carry in the game that you want, and you'd be fine.
Well, they'll be going up against that Victor that you predicted, as well as looks like maybe
I won't even give myself that one. I pretty much said every champ. I said Victor early.
You said a lot of different... Okay.
I said Victor early.
You said Victor. You said Vel'Koz. That's fine. It still counts. I'll give you credit.
I should have stopped. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you credit for it. I'll give you that credit. You at least get half credit. We know how math works. Half rounds up to a full one, so you get credit.
Our math teacher gives you half credit. You go, yeah, full credit.
Yeah, I got full credit. I got a 100. No, Zirene, you got a 50. Nope, I got a 100. This is math class. But Braum is locked in on the side of Team Infernal. Ocean's got 1 pick left. Let's see which AD carry. You said they could pick any of them, so you don't get any credit for whatever they lock in, because that don't count.
All right.
But it looks like the Varus could be what they're thinking about here.
It's kind of the most meta.
Yep, that's what they go for.
Yeah, it gives them more pick potential alongside the rest of the team composition. And, Yeah, I feel like overall we're looking at a split push composition for Infernal. Lots of wave clear in the mid lane. They have good team fighting on their 4-man unit. The thing they kind of lack here is a solid disengage in their 4-man unit to stall if the Shen tries to go in.
You got Braum ulti.
It's not as good as I would say a lot of the other, like Janna, right?
Yeah.
Hard disengage tool, Gragas ultimate. It's not one of those top tier ones, I would say. Yes, you can kind of put some things together. You throw the Sejuani ultimate, stun, and AoE slow. Like, you can zone with a little bit of control there, but it's not as easy to perform, right? It's a little bit easier for the other team to kind of outmaneuver.
Well, let's see what Ocean can do in this game, considering they have the Wombo combo potential this time, right? You can go in with Rakan, you can shuffle in right afterwards. There's some big initiation potential on this side of Ocean, and they'll need to be able to pull that trigger, or they're the ones that are going to be losing to the split push. It's almost like we've traded roles here from game number 1, where Ocean was the one split pushing with Kaizen, and they were the ones who were defending against that Wombo combo power from Team Infernal. Now it's Infernal who are saying, okay, watch out for these guys as 5 versus 5 engage. Don't let him get the combo off, and let Pickoffs do his thing in the other part of the map.
And that's what I kind of like to see here from these teams. And I like that they swapped it up because you want to see diverse things as a scout. You want to know if Pickoffs can play the Maokai, which he was able to, and play the Fiora at a competitive level in a team environment where people are communicating to try and shut you down. And for Kaizen, can he play that Jace solo split push? But now, is he able to play that Shen and help his team out and kind of show different aspects of, you know, some people will have a better game sense for how to split push. Others will have a better game sense of how to team fight. And I think like Pickoffs is one of the biggest examples I could ever think of somebody that is very clear that he's so comfortable split pushing that his TPs on Maokai are always like flank TPs, right? He's not the guy who's in the front line. He's TP flanking from like 2 screens away is Maokai and trudging through the forest to get there.
It's the Camille TP on not Camille.
Exactly. And that's what I love is you can actually see those nuanced things of players. Whereas with Kaizen, you kind of saw something where he's like, I really want to help the team when he was playing Jace. Granted, he's a very good Jace player and it's his main. But the Shen and the Globals, I want to see how he's able to use those here because we didn't see global action from him last game.
Well, we aren't getting anything spicy at level 1. Everybody taking the 5-point defense, guarding the entrance to their jungle, to their side of the map. Just don't want to deal with anything cheeky here. Team Infernal knows they've got to find the win if they want to hold on. Otherwise, Ocean's going to make this a double 2-0 day, which would look really impressive for them, considering, like I said, the only loss they've experienced so far in this tournament was up against Cloud in the final match of the Red Robin last night. Or Round Robin, not Red Robin.
I mean,
but,
I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking burgers, man. But the final match of the Round Robin last night, they did lose, but they did lose in a full 3 as well. They went 1 versus 2. They won the first game, lost the second 2. So can they hold it together and finish strong here? That's the question we're asking. And, I mean, they had a good performance in game number 1, and especially Blabberfish on that Jarvan steal. I want to see if he can make another big hero play this game. Maybe not necessarily that, but Gragas is always one of those playmaker champs, Zirene. I love watching this champion because you can do so much if you get the angles and the engagements right.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of be a party pooper for 1 second here because if I'm looking at a player, and this is how a lot of coaches kind of approach situations. If I'm looking at a player and they made a Baron steal, that's great, but they never should have been in that situation in the first place, right? So sometimes you don't even count it as a point in their favor, and you go, nah, that's the enemy team just being, goofing off, right? They're not actually playing the game the right way. If somebody optimizes that situation, you should never be able to do that. So you look at the rest of their play and how they affect the game. I want to see Blabberfish not have his team be in that position because he's already set up his team for success from the start, right? That's what you're really looking for as a scout. And you're not looking even if the guy won or lost the game. You're looking at how they individually perform. Like Pickoffs lost the last game. I actually think he performed well, save for one of the teleports that was a little late, but his team won anyway, right? Those types of situations where how much effect did the player have on the outcome of the game? And was it a positive or negative one, right? And were they supposed to be in that situation in the first place?
Pickoffs just walked into the enemy jungle, threw down a ward on the red buff, and saw it as not there. So it looked like it had already been cleared, but Blabberfish was still actually clearing it away.
Yeah, if he just looks at the minimap icon, he would have seen that it's still there, and then it would have popped away. So I assume that he knows that it's that Blabberfish is on the top side of the map, but it could help them out. If Blabberfish were to go for a gank here, I don't think he'd have much of an idea on Pickoffs' side that it would be coming.
Noah and Tsum taking their opportunity of having priority in the bottom lane to move up into the river, clear out any blast cones, throw down some vision in the enemy jungle. It's what you said in a previous match, previous game, I should say, Zirene, about Rakan pretty much losing the lane. You draft Rakan because he's strong. He denies Rakan Zaya. He's great for engage later on, but during the laning phase, he's underwhelming.
Yeah, he's quite underwhelming. It's one of the reasons that when there were Enchanter supports, he wasn't really that high of a priority until later, because all ranges just destroy him. And then all melees also beat him, but at the same time, it's not as bad. So you're much more comfortable picking him there. Nice
repose.
That's the stuff
and
I'm
still caught him on the edge
about.
to stun him, too. That's the thing. He was still somehow in the hitbox for the stun.
Yeah, Pancake Lord, I actually really like, I feel like I'm already a fan of his because I feel as though he's that guy, that story where he's that split pusher who's got fantastic mechanics and he's learning to be more of a team player. And then you see those still big highlight moments from him where he's able to carry games. Like you said, carried on Camille multiple times. I saw a team ban Jace, Camille, and Fiora as their blue side bans against him because he's just so scary on these champions.
Well, this game, he does have himself a 1 CS lead right now, so not the most in the world, but...
Yeah, the Shen's doing fantastic already. Kaizen and Pancake Lord in these matchups have actually been very pleasant to watch. It's been kind of a treat.
Yeah, that was a really
so
good
far.
Kaizen there.
Yeah. I like how he's finding like the small advantages, even just, it's outside of lane phase 2 where it's the TP advantage and the dance that you have to do as top lane between managing everything with the team, your summoner spells, and everything in the lane simultaneously.
Kaizen's just happy sitting here as well. Like, he's farming up underneath the turret. He's not taking an excessive amount of damage. The Fiora's not getting super far ahead of him. And like you said, when that Shen was locked in and you initially seemed so surprised, that lane could go really badly in some situations.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that Spica's not playing more towards the top side of the map. And it's been kind of bottom focused. I think that might be because of the Infernal Drake being up and being the first Drake.
Yes.
Kind of focused on
that.
that.
Drake.
Yeah. It's the one that everybody wants. We saw like a mountain stay up for like 17 minutes.
It was 19 minutes, man. That thing stayed up forever. Nobody wanted him because he wasn't an Infernal Drake.
Exactly. And now I hope Spica starts playing towards the top side of the map because we saw him play alongside a Maokai and a tank that you can kind of leave alone up against the Jace. And now you have a lane that can snowball, and it seems like he's still kind of playing around mid a little bit more. Not going for dive, not trying to like, outplay the Shen or anything like that. Just low variance plays, steal the Raptors,
Small victories.
Yeah, I mean, it's a controlled style for sure, but I like seeing junglers that can adapt to situations and picks. And
all right, we've got level 6 on both these mid laners. By the way here, there comes your play, but it's going to be flash for flash. Ulti used by Azir for nothing. So having that cooldown down means we might see a 2v2 here if Spica wants to pull the trigger, but the quick back away from T-Motion.
Somebody messed that ward up. They wanted that in the bush.
But hey, here's your engaged bottom side. Prismal looking to fight alongside Vulcan. Vulcan having to flash away. T-Sim going to be taken below half HP. Prismal still looking to fight this one. Stand United comes in. Prismal trying to stay right next to T-Sim. The taunt comes down. The damage is through. And Kaizen Shen will grab first blood.
Yeah, and he has teleports. We can TP back to the top side. They're going to get some damage on this top lane, but Blabberfish knows exactly where he needs to be. Bottom side, try to punish this. Body slam, flash. Doesn't have the ultimate just yet, but neither does Noah.
There comes your damage, a little bit more through the cast. Blabberfish just going to keep him here. The minions have made their way up, which means the cavalry has arrived, and it's not going to be long for this world for Noah Most. Nearly taking down Blabberfish, though. Well played.
Yeah, Noah also had flash there, opts not to use it, and it looks like Kaizen TP'd back, and he's able to avoid a dive with a 2-on-1.
I like what Infernal tried to do there in punishing the Shen as soon as he TPs back, tried to really set him behind, but an error in execution means that they weren't able to pull it off, and Kaizen is still okay for now.
Yeah, it looked like the Pancake Lord had used his ultimate to try and get enough burst damage. If you want to kill Kaizen, you got it. Oh, where's the aggro?
Gonna have her health. There's the damage! Good Lord, Kaizen, the man's got the moves!
Spica has to take aggro first there, 100%. I actually, I'm a jungler, and now I'm being the top laner blaming the jungler. Don't do this at home, kids, but Spica 100% needs to auto-attack Kaizen there, because Pancake Lord went up. He goes up to get towards the vital. Kaizen goes down. You want to Q across the turret, and he has to hit him earlier. He doesn't have the mana to really get in there and use Q or W. You have to choose one of them, and Spica goes for the W there.
And for Pancake Lord, that feels extra bad because he uses his flash at the end after the turret has already fired the fatal shot. So he blows the summoner spell, dies anyway. Wonderfully well played by Kaizen. An error from Spica costs his top laner his life. and Team Ocean now up 3-0, enjoying another fantastic early game.
Yeah, I think that, you know, everybody's kind of at fault in that situation, but I do think the fault lies a little bit more with Spica. Cake Lord at the same time, very aggressive in the play, and he's relying on the other person to really execute in that situation. And Kaizen, I just gotta say, this guy has been playing incredibly well today in terms of his split push and getting the maximum. And now he's on his Shen that got them the kill on bottom side, and now they're playing around him too.
I'm not gonna lie, I was worried when he comes back, because you saw him start to walk away.
Yeah, you're like, what's
the
the
next mini wave? He was like, all right, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna sacrifice it, but then he's like, no, I can handle this. And when some guy's thought process, when a player's thought process is I can handle this, it's either going to go to heaven or to hell. This is going to either be the wow, he really knew what he was doing there, or the what in the world was he doing there? And this time, it was the wow. Love watching that kind of play.
Boom, moving towards the top lane here. Visit coming through.
But the ward placed down.
First turret.
There's that game sense. Kaizen thinking, okay, this feels wrong. I'm going to abandon it. They will give up that first turret, but they don't give a kill away with it.
Good game sense from Kaizen, but also I like the call from Infernal. What they did is they brought their jungler mid, push out the wave. Palafox has to go to get blue, and they know Azir's not going to counter this. Complete other side of the map. You trade first turret top lane on Fiora for bottom lane second, and the Infernal's the one that you really got to get something here for it in exchange, or else you're really just giving that up for free. I don't know if they reset fast enough for it, though.
I would have liked this trade of objectives better from Infernal if it was any other kind of Drake. If it was a Cloud Drake, if it was an Ocean Drake, even a Mountain one. But the Infernal Drake specifically giving you that extra combat power is going to be big for an Ocean team that's already 2,000 gold up.
Yeah, and the fact that they're 2,000 gold up because of what happened earlier made it a much harder to contest Drake. So because of what happened in lane phase and the fact that the Shen was able to affect bottom and top, makes it very difficult, and that's kind of a Drake that you have to give over. And I guess you get kind of first turret gold for it, but you're really playing damage control if you're Infernal already.
And as the items start to come out, you're seeing the new age standard build for the Azir, the Berserker's Greaves, into the Morello Namicon. Gone are the days of Nashor's Tooth. Used to the Emperor would build that one every game, but it's just not necessary after those recent changes. Yeah, having 3 soldiers out gives you a lot of attack speed, so the Nashor's Tooth is no longer needed, and people go for the Morello for the more AP, it's 20 more, and then you also have all of that mana regen on it with the resets on kills and whatnot. So people really like that build, and that's kind of been what we've been seeing all over. Azir is incredibly powerful, even on live. So 89 CS for this Fiora, 73 for the Shen. Despite Kaizen's good play earlier, and despite his awesome TP, he is behind in farm, which is what you would expect when you're up against a split push champion like Fiora. You're going to have to concede some ground and just generally take losing situations. Spica once again coming up, looking to see if maybe they can make something happen here. Kaizen not too afraid of this.
Kaizen walked up and made the Sunfire Cape from Spica go off and pull aggro.
You got to be careful with those Sunfire Capes. You really do.
Yeah. It actually feels like Spica's like a little bit off, just a little bit. But, I mean, the guy mostly plays Rek'Sai, Nidalee, right? Sejuani is still up there in his champion pool. The Ezreal is something he's known for. This guy was actually picked 3rd in the draft. Incredibly young. The 2nd youngest player here is 16 years old. And it just seems like kind of managing everything at once is very difficult.
Yeah.
So, see if he can recover in this game.
There's a lot of things to keep track of in a game of League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially if you're the jungler, you got to go around to every different lane, keep track of all these different cooldowns, make sure that you're always in the right place at the right time, and sometimes your Sunfire Cape just falls to the back of your mind.
Yeah, and throw in the fact that, you're not playing at home where you climb the challenger ladder from. It's not your chair. It's not your desk height. Things can throw people off all the time, dude. It's like the audience, people, it's like people watching me, oh my God, and lights. Like, stuff can really throw you off on your first time on stage. Like, playing on the stage is super different. Like, I don't think I could ever do it. Like,
I did it one time during a playtest. They banned Skarner against me. It felt bad.
Yeah, if you're playing against Captain Flowers, ban Skarner, ban Wukong, and I guess now ban Xin Zhao.
Well, they didn't ban Fiora against Cake Lord, and that's the guy that I think if you're Team Infernal, you're going to be keeping your eye on this entire time, because that's the win condition, right? Like, when you draft a Fiora, you're drafting your win condition, because the champion is not going to be this massive team fighter. It's not going to be this huge element in 5 versus 5. So I'm looking forward, as we progress more and more towards the mid-game, 13 minutes in now, to exactly how this team enables him to do what he needs to do. That's what I want to see, is how do the other 4 play around setting him up.
Yeah, and I talked about this earlier, where you really need to see what they're doing and how they're setting him up and how it's going to work off of champion select. Because now, they're setting him up, sure, but now he's going to a lane that's going to be pushed into the Shen. Now you don't get Rift Herald because you didn't take it earlier when you had you know, a chance to do that. And now they're giving up an Infernal Drake, their top turret, and Rift Herald potentially here. And that might lead to the mid lane turret in just a bit if they decide to use Rift Herald there as opposed to top.
Prismal pushing into this top lane tier 1, trying to grab some damage onto that one. He's ahead in terms of farm too. You've got the bottom lane ahead, you've got the middle lane ahead, top lane slightly behind, jungle's even ahead. Now remember, I do want to make sure I comment, this is patch 7.21, this is before all the changes. Jungle creeps are messed up. Like, it's still, the chicken camp is worth 6, the golems are worth 5, the Gromp is worth 1. The CS tracking in jungle is very difficult to actually get any real value.
Yeah.
So that one, I'm not going to go all
Okay, when you said messed up, I thought you were talking about catch-up experience. For a second, I was like,
no.
I was like, whoa!
No, I'm talking about how the camps are valued at such grossly different numbers that it's hard to actually get a read on the gold value of each one. But as you can see on the junglers, the values are very similar.
They're looking for a pick on Noah most, but there's also so many members coming up here. Spica, Atisum.
Nope.
And it's going to be to prevent the turret from going down, which means you have a 2-to-1 turret lead for Infernal. So they're going to have to use this Rift Herald in maybe mid or top to try and even the turrets now. So the Rift Herald isn't going to be a bonus or icing on the cake. It's going to kind of remedy the fact that they lost tempo in the push.
Right, it's going to be a catch-up.
Yep.
It's going to get you back to an even point, back to a standard game. As now the engage coming out from Vulcan. Prismal trying to find the damage off the side Unbreakable.
Jungler's
going to be
here.
keeping that AD carry alive. Jungler showing up. Flash away from Tsum, keeping himself alive. Blade Storm into that Blade Caller.
Gonna stun him.
As now can they find the damage onto the Gragas? Doesn't look like it's Stand United going to be used. Kaizen comes through, but that means Pie Cake Lord is left alone on the bottom lane.
Yeah, now Kaizen's going to TP, I believe. There it is. Going to try to stop that turret from going down. Victor got some turret damage in the mid. Overall, actually believe that's a victory for Infernal.
Yeah. I mean, you get both of the globals out of the Shen. You don't actually drop any bodies on the way out. I'll call that a win.
Yeah. And you know how I'm like going through the game and talking constantly about, oh, this team is going to do this or that, right? The teams are constantly saying that about each other. And if you're given a, you know, textbook game state where you trade here, I trade here, oh, I got tempo, this is what I can do next, you have to do something to disrupt that flow of what should happen next. And that's where the cool things like this guy is bush camping kind of disrupts it, right? It's the unexpected or the thing that you have no reason to really do is what catches people off guard. And a play like that is something that Ocean, they could force it down, but Infernal are countering appropriately. And they didn't even use TP there either. You saw Pie Cake Lord was like, I don't have to match this. I'm just going to keep flip pushing. Now he has her advantage.
There's your turret take mid lane from Ocean. That's what you were mentioning earlier. The Rift Herald used to equalize things. Now it's 2 turrets to 2 turrets again. Only a 1,000 gold lead for Team Ocean. Granted, the value's a little bit higher because they have Infernal Drake, so the stats are multiplied a little bit more, but overall, a very close game between these two.
Yeah. And so Ocean Drake are doing a better job of going to the right side of the map at the right time, and Infernal are kind of dropping the ball there where, well, they gave over bottom side to Ocean because of the plays made earlier. That's fine. Then they didn't take top side because Rift Herald hadn't really spawned just yet. They get it eventually. Then they swap it back, but it means that Rift Herald and both, basically all 3 neutral objectives that are in the river have gone to Ocean based off their rotations and their tempo, and Infernal haven't been taking or trying to extend whatever tempo they gain.
Blabberfish wants to defend his own jungle. Spica, who's pressuring up, trying to get down some of those wards, get some control, but he'll be quickly forced out now as Palafox holds the mid lane tier 1.
And let's talk about Palafox here. The 20th pick overall, the last mid laner drafted. And I think it was smart by OpTic because you look at the mid laners here, and like I said, 3 of them are very known in terms of how good they are, and they have some challenger experience behind them. Palafox is the one that kind of sticks out as a sore thumb, but he was the highest LP out of all of them, and there was only about 100 LP and challenger difference between all of them. So OpTic said, we're going to draft a core of Blabberfish and Vulcan. You guys are going to take whatever mid laner, because we're happy with any of them, because they're all pretty equally good. But the thing is Palafox ended up being a steal for them at the end as that 20th pick because of the way they drafted, and the fact that he's actually a phenomenal player that we're seeing here for pretty much the first time.
Yeah, it feels great when you can get value out of the last guy you drafted. Pie Cake Lord on the losing end of this trade for now up against Kaizen. Got to be careful to not allow Fiora to get all those procs, but he does get them all. Kaizen underestimating what this Fiora can do, having to flash away. Pie Cake Lord healing himself right back up.
Trying to buy time
here. Pie Cake Lord just wasting all their time. There comes your recombo, knocking him up into the air. Prismal comes in with the shot, but Blabberfish already has the damage. That was so well played by Pie Cake Lord, and honestly, so just overconfident from Kaizen just going in like that, allowing him to proc all 4 vitals. You gotta hug the wall.
Yeah, the issue I think that with that play is Pie Cake Lord is in a situation where he's too far forward. Like, this is split push dance, right, with your team. And this is why when a team executes it so well, I'm always impressed, is this right here is Pie Cake Lord. He's too far forward relative to what his team can threaten. His team cannot threaten mid. They cannot threaten top tier 2. They can't threaten a Baron because it's not up, or a Drake. So they get nothing off of his extension. So when he's extended, you think worst case scenario is I get, 4-man dove or whatever, or 4-man. Yeah, back up, because you're not going to get anything if you get killed.
There has to be a trade.
Exactly. You have to get something from it, and the rest of the team wasn't in a position. And then the question afterwards is, whose call was it? Is it his to stay? Is the team saying we can do something? And then it turns out they can't.
And that's the question I was asking earlier. How do the other 4 enable the Pie Cake Lord win condition? How do they play in a way that makes this Fiora draft make sense? And plays like that, allowing the Fiora to get killed for nothing in return, is not the answer to that question.
Giving him red. Maybe.
Yep. I mean, we clearly saw that even in a bad situation, he can beat Kaizen 1v1.
Yeah, I actually think Kaizen went with a very intelligent build. Like, I want to talk about it for a second here, because he first item Tiamat. It means nothing if you're buying health versus Fiora when she buys, or she has percent HP true.
It actually means nothing if you buy any defensive thing.
Exactly. You build armor, you build anything like that. So he goes, I'm going to go damage, try to match her, have wave clear so she can't pressure my turrets as much. Then he goes into the Bramble Vest, which will reduce the healing. And I actually think at this point, he could potentially 1v1 Pie Cake Lord with this build at this state in the game. Because she doesn't have the Ravenous Hydra just yet. And even then, it's still going to be pretty rough.
I mean, I think people seriously, one of the things that goes most undervalued is Grievous Wounds versus a lot of champions in this game. Anybody that has Sustain as such a huge part of their kit and is an auto attacker, we're talking like your Irelias, your Warwicks, your Fioras, things like that. Bramble Vest is just so strong, even without the fact that it gives you armor. Just the fact that it makes their healing be halved, incredibly powerful.
Oh yeah, especially when Fiora, and a lot of her trading, because she's a flimsy champion, a lot of her trading relies on her life stealing and getting that HP back from the Vital constantly. So you'd be surprised if there was a nerf to Fiora and she got no HP back from hitting a Vital, you'd be so surprised at how quickly she dies every single time. Yeah. And that's kind of what's going on here, but look at this. Ocean making a call. They go for this. They have the Azir. It's so much damage. He just showed up to kind of contribute. They're all here. Here comes Spica.
All right.
Hot.
Using the Forest ulti, looking to take him down. They're able to find the Baron, but now what about the fight? Can they do anything here? Shen ultimate going to be used onto Prismal. Disengage from the rest of Ocean. They get themselves out. Palafox coming around the side, still looking to maybe make something happen. They will likely drop tier 2 bottom here. Pie Cake Lord being given time to work on that one. Good job from Ocean there, not only making the call for the Baron, but using the Varus ulti and other tools to keep Spica away and make sure it's a clean, secure. Palafox now still looking to fight, having to dash himself away. Might just fall here if he's not careful. Has to get all the way out. Blabberfish disengaging with the ultimate as Ocean gets everyone away.
Get him away, and we'll see if this mid lane turret actually stands up for much longer here. It's actually pretty healthy to my knowledge. So, yeah, they're going to leave it there. But the way that play happened was everybody on Ocean, the Gragas, the Varus, the Rakan, they walked through that top lane control ward that's in the bush. They were spotted going to Baron, and then Infernal were coming off the reset slowly, and they just didn't walk straight there. They waited until they were all synced up. It wasn't going to be a stagger in. Spica could have gotten there like 10 seconds earlier, but he sat in a brush. And it looked like a call where they were saying they could potentially be doing Baron or rotating mid, and they didn't want to check it until later. That control ward was the one. They had full knowledge of that, and they didn't decide to try and stop it. They decided to play for the split push, like you said, with that win condition for Fiora.
Well, now I want to see what does Ocean do with the win condition of a Baron. How much can they get? How many turrets can they knock down with this? They've only got 2 under the belt so far. Prismal will make very short work of this remaining tier 1. Bringing that one down puts his team up 3,500 gold. And now it looks like the push is going to largely continue up here as Kaizen gets to pretty much stay on Fiora duty for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll see what he does here. I feel like, oh man, full Thornmail. He didn't even just stay with the Bramble Vest, he decided, I need to lower his attack speed as well.
Yep, it'll lower the attack speed. I believe you get more damage from the damage return. So, very effective item for fighting Fiora. We talked about how when she procs the vitals, no defensive stat in the game will actually help you, but the properties on the item, in spite of the stats, still make work get done against that champion.
Yeah, mid lane we see Palafox. He was 2 levels up. This guy doing work. Also, I think the Baron, it's something people don't really talk about. The Baron has so much experience on it. I've actually talked to like a few designers about it. I'm like, how much is actually on that thing? It is a boatload. It is a ton. Like, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. And also the numbers are kind of strange because you don't always know like relative. But look at this. Oh, can he stay alive? Prismo!
Engage into the top side. Prismo going to be taken low. Taken down by the last tick from Julian's ultimate. Now they're able to run down the rest of them. Vulcan likely going to be the second casualty. A double kill for the mid laner on Team Infernal. That's your engage.
That's what you have to do to disrupt, because otherwise you say, all right, we slow bleed. That's the wrench that you need to throw in. The Sejuani came through. Spica finally getting a piece of the action here, and he stops his team from losing more.
That is an awesome halt to the aggro from Team Ocean for Team Infernal. They really needed that right here. Let's take a look at how it happened.
Yeah, they were warding on the side. They go, oh, that's, they went for the blue ward. They went for the blue ward, set up there.
You baited.
And then they get the pick. Yeah, they were checking, like, are they still there? Where'd the Gragas and the Rakan go? And then they see, for a split second, Varus is alone.
They're like, wait, they left Prismal, get him.
Yeah. And I wonder what's next for him. Is that going to be a QSS? Is it going to be, the Wit's End, which is actually seeing a decent.
Oh, yeah, I guess that is a good question. If it was anybody but Varus, I would say it's 100% QSS.
Yeah.
Because of how easy it can be to get caught out by, you know, like a Xayah root or a Sejuani ulti or anything. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see which one he decides to go for. Still 3,500 gold up for Ocean, but that means they haven't really evolved their lead with the Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, literally as soon as they got Baron, they took the tier 1 turret top, and that got them a 3,500 gold lead. And now, Baron's pretty much gone, and you've got a 3,500 gold lead. So, start to finish, it didn't change a lot, which is great for Infernal. Plus 193, or minus 193 gold. That is a small change.
Yeah.
Not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
But if you're Team Infernal, that means this game is still close. You're starting to get plenty of items online. You've got Hydra and Black Cleaver both on the side of Cake Lord now. Plenty of regeneration to deal with the damage coming from that Shen. And when you're a tank, you really get worried when the split pusher starts to build that lifesteal up, because then your base damage, what you're relying on with this tank, just won't cut it anymore.
Yeah. It's going to end up being really, really rough for them. And so Cake Lord on the bottom, being collapsed on.
Okay, nice damage coming through. Nice CC chain. More damage showing up now as they bring down the mid laner. Flash away, and Cake Lord's got the moves, but Prismal has got the positioning. Damage comes through. Oh! Rain of arrows.
Yeah, he hesitated there. If he had gone for that path earlier, he'd buy more time. But then that just seemed like, what is my team getting? And once again, they get nothing off of it. Like, we've been praising Cake Lord, but I actually don't think this is a good game from him, in particular relative to his team. I don't know if it's him not having his team in position, and that's the thing. It's very hard to point fingers. Look at this.
Vulcan trying to get himself away. Blabberfish going to be ulted by the Shen. Prismal coming in from the side. They've got a 5 versus 4 if they can make it happen here. More damage goes through. But Ocean backed themselves out. They realize the positioning isn't there. They don't want to dive in between 2 turrets. So now they go back and they grab the wave.
Yeah, Kaizen went for the taunt there, and he got pulled back in by the gravity field from Julian last second. Cake Lord, he's probably going to TP after he spawns. We'll see here. Where is the flank? There it is.
Yep,
TP
there it is.
Coming
TP
in.
Coming in from behind. Ocean may be caught here. Palafox going to be jumped on. Has to get himself out. Vulcan looking to go right back in behind a massive for combo. But the damage is not there just yet. Cake Lord coming in from behind. And Ocean is routed. 4 dead so far.
That is what you want to see from a team playing around a split pusher with the TP flank fight. Cake Lord, Maokai Fiora, give him whatever champion. The same play is going to come out, and that's what I'm talking about there. Those TP flanks, the siege was absolutely a bait there to get the enemy team to overcommit.
And you've got to keep your eyes on stuff like those respawn timers on those teleport options, because this was so big.
Yeah, and then they try to keep him here. T-Sum goes forward. It looks like they're kind of committing, but they don't have vision of the TP at all. They don't have any vision. Palafox backed up, tried to stay in, gets picked off on the backside. Even though they trade the supports, they ended up going way worse in that fight on the side of Ocean because of that TP.
This game is back and forth, and Ocean maintains their lead for now, but it's small.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too, is I've talked about flashes before after fights. Ocean have all their flashes. They have the global teleport still available. Pie Lord, no TP. They're down flashes on things like the Victor and the Braum. So this Baron that's up right now, Pie Lord would have to commit to a split push. You're going to get picked off in fights because you don't have as many flashes. And so I actually think Infernal are not in a good position if a Baron is contested here. If you're Ocean, that's what you're trying to look for here.
Kaizen trying to get away from Pie Lord as fast as he can, recognizing that a fight in open ground is not what you want against the Fiora. Gets himself back underneath that turret to safety as now Ocean once again on the push, on the offensive. Setting up the Azir turret. Built it a little bit early, and it looks like it might just instantly go down to Team Infernal.
It looks like they weren't ready to really protect it here, but it's still going to last a bit. That's enough for them. That's enough for them to prevent a push out to the middle part of the mid lane, which means that you then have time to go clear out all the wards on Baron and set up your own Baron control. But now you have to counter push, not get picked on your left side here because there's control wards from Ocean, and make sure that they aren't doing the Baron. They're going to have to face check, but it's so rough. If you get engaged on by this Rakan, team fight is happening, and you don't have a TP to back you up.
Oh, you're in trouble. You're going to be in a lot of trouble, but we still got both these top laners set up in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it's the dance. So the minion wave, when it pushes in, your team has to push forward. When the minion wave is dead by Shen, you have to back off because Pie Lord can't do a thing to stop TP anyway, but he could deal damage to the Shen before he TPs. So you really do want to have a wave there, and that's when you move up. When it's not there, get out. There's nothing to accomplish.
Gotta bail. Now let's see what Ocean does here. In the enemy jungle, laying down the wards, control wards especially. They've been a subject of conversation this whole day. Pie Lord continuing to push up bottom side. Spirit's Refuge needs to defend, and Ocean decides it's time to go. They're on top of an enemy ward, but Baron's already below half. Zika has the opportunity to maybe jump in here, try to make some kind of a play. Baron down to 2k HP, but now they're going to bail away from it. Shen ultimate's going to be used. Here it comes.
Oh!
The stun, the damage, and Noah Most taking down Blabberfish. Disaster for Ocean.
That is absolutely crucial for Ocean. We've been kind of setting up over and over again the fact that they are in a position where they can bait the Baron. No teleport answer, nothing like that. Now, the cards are in their hands off of that play. Blabberfish got destroyed, stunned up, and they stopped it. Palafox going to try to deal damage. Here comes the TP.
All right, TP coming back up. Kaizen. Baron's going to be taken low. They're still looking to make it happen. Baron's going to be secured with the damage. Palafox! And my God, that Azir ultimate. They are destroyed.
Even though they got Baron, it's only on Pie Lord. He can't continue to push this, and he can't defend what this push is going to be here from the rest of the team. That was insane. Palafox, this dude has been CSing out of his mind.
20th pick in the draft, by the way. 20th pick out of 20, and a 20 out of 20 ultimate. That was fantastic. The man knew exactly when to go in. They smashed their opponents for taking the Baron, and when things looked dire for Ocean, again at the Baron pit, they find their redemption. Last time it was through a Baron steal from Blabberfish. This time, it's through an awesome ultimate that comes through from Palafox.
Oh man, this guy, it's one of those moments where you go, how could they have known in the draft? Like, the mid laners were all very close, 100 LP difference. Palafox, the diamond in the rough, the one without the challenger, the high-level experience that the other guys had, and OpTic picked him up. Last pick there. Last pick essentially means you're forced to take that guy.
Yep. You got one guy to pick from. Here you go.
And the Yasuo and the Fiora comes out in him. He goes for the play. That is the Shurima shuffle if I have ever seen one, where he pushes everybody back. No escape in that pit.
Phenomenally done. Pie Lord, the last man standing with the Baron buff. I mean, if you got to pick one guy on your team to have it, this is the guy you pick. So you've got that redeeming factor. Sterix Gage now running on him as well as third completed item. It's harder to burst him.
And this is already the new Sterix Gage, where it gives you tenacity, the 30% tenacity, and it gives you more base attack damage than before. But look at that, taunt flash, and so much damage. Half a
taught him out again here. Trying to use the ulti to get himself away, and he will do so for now. Meanwhile, mid lane, it's Palafox and Vulcan that are trying to defend.
It's a close game, though. It's still so close.
This could go either way at any point in time. Blabberfish going to take a little bit of damage here. Throws out the cast, blocked up by the Braum. Nice job there.
Yeah, T-Sum's like, I'm out. Yep, thank you.
See you later.
Nice play around that, too. They backed off instead of committing. Oh, Palafox ulti.
Ulti to disengage. Now the damage coming through, but it's Vulcan who drops to Noah. Palafox has to retreat. Prismal can't find anybody with the snipe, and topside, it's Pie Cake Lord still making the moves here, still pressuring in this split push.
Yeah, I mean, Kaizen has been doing a phenomenal job of maintaining and staying even with this Fiora and making sure she doesn't get out of hand. It has actually been pretty incredible in terms of the things he's managed in this game without being completely rolled over. I love the build. I love the direction he's gone with it since the first item he purchased. And he's had, I mean, even that level 2 or the level like 5, 6 gank where he's able to outplay it under turret. Kaizen's kind of been shutting down Pie Cake Lord from rolling over the game.
Yeah, Kaizen's performance this game has been spot on for me. 4-0 and 5 on the KDA as well. Sometimes you have those games where a guy's KDA doesn't really reflect how well he's been playing. 9 out of 10 kill participation, no deaths. This reflects extremely accurately how well Kaizen's been playing this game. Guy's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But now, you've still got a game that's less than 1,000 gold apart. You've still got a game that could go either way, but Zirene, you've got a game where Elder Dragon is coming up, and there are 4 Drakes under the belt of Team Ocean.
This is the first Elder Dragon today, I believe.
Yep.
Between these 4 games that have happened. We'll see what happens there because the global is in the hands of the Ocean. Ocean has 4 Drakes. They've had control of all of them, but it's still only a 1,000 gold lead for them. And another thing to keep in mind is you're spending a lot of money on control wards. Like when Palafox is backing and getting 3 control wards, he's sinking 225 gold into those control wards every single time he does that, and he's up 1,000 gold total. I'm pretty sure that their inventory, kind of the worth of their inventory right now is fairly close, right? It's a Blasting Wand and the Fiendish Codex, and then also the Victor has that incredibly expensive item of upgrading his Hex Core multiple times. So I would say their inventories are actually fairly close, and a lot of that's Palafox, you know, playing for the team.
Yep, Palafox continuing to buy time, building these turrets, just stalling out his opponents. Baron power play. Infernal one up Team Ocean. Team Ocean had a negative 200 gold Baron power play. We're like 2 digits or 3 digits. We can do 4. Negative 1,200 Baron power play. The Barons are just not resulting in what the teams would like them to result in so far.
Right now, this Baron power play is over. We'll see what's going on that top side because wave is crashing. They're pushing up exactly what you need to do. He's going to kill him. Oh, nice deflect.
Beautiful repose, but Kaizen's still keeping himself alive until the heal procs Pie Cake Lord with the dive, the Sterix gauge to keep him alive. Now he's running away, has to waste as much time as he can.
He's not going to make it.
Looking to TP away, has to repose to block the stun, but it still stops the TP, and that's all that matters. The shutdown, it's 1 for 1, but the mid lane tier 2 likely going to fall here as well. The minion wave now catching up. The team rotating over. Team Ocean, they've got 50 seconds until Pie Cake Lord respawns.
And that's one of those weird situations where you go, oh, he probably could have gone after getting enough HP to the left through the turret. Maybe he gets away. Yep. But instead he says, I'm going to guarantee that my team gets the turret by pulling everybody as far away as possible because it's much further to get to that tier 2 from the Nexus fountain than it is from the top lane. So he's just kind of pulling them really far instead of taking the gamble. And I said it earlier, as a top laner, you have to keep in mind, your life is worth less than a turret. So giving up your life for a turret at some points in the game is much better.
Yep, and now you've got that QSS Evolved Mercurial Scimitar also up on the Fiora. Let's take a look at how this dive went down.
Yeah, gets the first one, and then gets the next one, goes for the ultimate immediately after, slides around, hits him there, knows that's the only option he has, keeps it by the wall, but then goes up, Qs through, not close enough to the wall, and then Pie Cake Lord gets a ton off that. The way Fiora Vitals work is they'll be on the left or the bottom, and then the next one will be on the top and the right. Look at that. Spica.
Engage. Spica going to be juggled around, but now they're able to find the counterattack. Almost damage coming through. The kill down onto the Sejuani. Can they find the rest that they need? Still 5 alive. Noah drops. It's a 3 versus 5. As the remaining members of Infernal have to somehow staunch this bleed. It's 5 strong from Ocean in the enemy base, but they don't have any opportunities to push the other lanes yet. Baron's going to be spawning in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Palafox, man, this guy has been doing so much work for them. I watched him play against the #1 draft pick in Ablaze Olive. Ablaze Olive had a better lane phase than him by about 20 to 30 CS at one point based on matchup. But then the guy was playing Orianna, and he destroyed the team fights. When Palafox gets behind, one thing that I've heard about him is he's always level-headed, and he plays for the team, and he understands his power spikes. This guy has been ahead the entire game, and he just looks like a monster. But look at this. Infernal are going to try to get the Elder. No, not going to happen.
Can't do it. There's no way they're fast enough, and they know their opponents are collapsing right now. So if you're Infernal, things just got really, really tough. You're staring down the barrel of a 5-man Baron team, and the other barrel's locked and loaded with 5-man Elder Drake team. Double Uber buffs on the side of Team Ocean with 1 inhibitor down already in the mid lane. If Ocean can't lock this game out here, they got problems.
Yeah, and one of the things, that would be a huge problem for sure. One of the things that I've been looking at here is Noah Most got that first pick Xayah. He's got the most CS in the game. He's been funneled to CS a lot of the times. You can see like Zatzmod, Julian, hasn't really been getting too much pick. He'll pick up a lot here, but the Victor you usually expect to just be like AFK wave clear, you know, boom, throw down the E. It's been really going over to Noah Most, but he's been picked off in these fights fairly early on. In that last one, they're able to get him pretty much right off the bat. So he needs to find a way to make his gold really valuable for his team at this point. Because now we're seeing those gold discrepancies, despite all the control work for it, just really kind of manifest.
Yeah, it's do or die right now. I don't really see any other option for Team Infernal. You either make it happen or it's going to be over. That's a lot of damage from that Shen. That's 4 Drake Elder Dragon is not something that you just want to take lightly.
But I like that Kaizen's like, I'm not fighting you. I'm not even testing.
He's not gonna take that risk. Because he remembers that fight from earlier where his opponent was at 25% HP, he did a 4-proc Vital, got the ulti, and then killed him, almost.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to take that risk, and I like that from Kaizen because you could be a star. You could go for that kill, right, as a Shen and just have like the solo kill happen, but the controlled play is not even to test it. You got him to half HP off that. That's fine. What is he going to do? What is he going to contribute? Oh, Blabberfish tried to go for a pick there.
Yep, we're seeing multiple ultis get used here. Not for a whole lot of payoff from either side, but that's what we've been talking about this whole day, Zirene. The attitude of these players, the minimization of mistakes, the purchasing of 19,000 control wards from both sides. Pie Lord still going after Kaizen here, trying to get the
wear off.
Grab.
No, it wore off.
The ulti wears off. Pie Lord now has to retreat. He knows he's so very low.
Give me the wave. Give me the HP.
His Sterix never procs. He didn't take enough damage at once to have the Sterix proc. That's a problem with the item sometimes, is the burst isn't strong enough to actually give you the item at level 18, as now the top lane is going to lose the inhibitor turret. It's going to lose the inhibitor. And the team as a whole makes their play. 5 men strong now, onto the Nexus, seeing if they can push into these turrets. It's 5 versus 5. Blabberfish on the front line. Elder Drake going to expire very soon.
Exactly. Elder Drake is off after this wave. They're going to return and back up. Play for the bottom side. Low variance play. You want to look as good as possible and make sure you can make these calculated plays. That's the thing. You don't want coin flips to decide what the outcome of the game is. You want to have, not a 50-50. You want to have a lopsided, you want to have a loaded dice. That's
you aren't buying 3 control wards every back to flip a coin, damn it! You're buying 3 control wards every back to have the most convincing win possible, which is what Ocean is doing right now. Gold lead up to 5,000, which is about as strong as it's been all game, if we're being quite honest. This one has just been so close ever since the beginning. 42 minutes in almost now, as Team Ocean has 1 lane left standing to push. It's going to be the game of defense for Infernal. Fiora still going to be a threat in a split push situation, but honestly, she's at the point where she doesn't really feel comfortable doing that as much anymore. You can still see Kaizen hanging out on that other end of the map. They don't have a ton of vision on the top side of their own jungle, so for all they know, the Fiora could be waiting.
Yeah, I would say Fiora's actually in a fine spot against the Shen now because he tested the damage. He knows he's in a good spot. And the flash is down from Kaizen. He used it to get over the Drake pit.
Yeah.
But now, Kaizen gets to just push it a wave that has super minions in it, and they get to siege bottom. This is where the game gets kind of brainless for the team where they have 2 inhibitors down. But we saw earlier today, you can't be getting caught in this siege situation if you're Ocean. It happened over and over again to Cloud earlier today.
Mountain made the defense, yeah. Mountain made it happen. Can Infernal do it? They've got to if they want to keep playing. They're looking to maybe grab the move onto Palafox here, but here comes your engage. Now it's going to be started off. Nice combo comes through, and Julian's going to be falling first. T-Sum looking to go second. Never mind, they've got the damage onto Spica. It's 5 men, still strong for Ocean. A double kill over to Prismal. They've got the taunts, they've got the damage.
Noah!
They're not quite able to find it onto Cake Lord. Noah keeps himself alive. They're reversing it. The quadra kill. Could it be the penta for Noah Most?
This guy has been under the radar all game long. It started off really rough for him with the lane phase, with the bottom turret going down, no control of the dragon, and now he comes off popping off with that pentakill.
The man stepped up when he had no choice other than to step up. That looked like it was the end of the game, but Noah denied it. The 6-item Xayah with the defense.
Noah's like, you ain't getting on my boat. Look at this right here. T-Sum gets in, shields the wrong way, but they still get knocked up, and Julian drops. That's one damage dealer down. They retreat, they get out of the Varus ultimate, and here's the turnaround. This is so key. Prismal flashes forward. There they go. Cake Lord does as much damage as possible. Then the ultimate comes through. Shotguns across Palafox, who went for another insect. He put himself in. He tried to scream a shuffle, and that was the dodge from Noah Most and the shotgun right in the face.
Both carries died for the same sins on Team Ocean. They went too far forward to finish the game, not recognizing that there was that possibility for Xayah to land a game-saving ult. Huge props to Noah Most there making that play.
And I was talking about him a few minutes before that, where he was been funneled the farm. 3-3-3 was his scoreline before that, and he had died in the previous fight right off the bat. They tried to do it again to him there. You're seeing Blabberfish try and body slam Flash, knock Noah Most in, or at least get his ultimate so that he can't dodge the next thing. But he was able to keep it and then turn it around. We'll see here.
Varus ulti over the wall. Blabberfish goes in. The Gargoyle Stone Plate.
Oh, they're going to kill him
alive, but even through the Stone Plate, he may be taken down. Here comes your counter initiation. Nobody dead, so many ults used, active items, everything all over the place, but no bodies on the ground from either team.
But Baron's in 1 second, it is now live. They're gonna put that turret up. Palafox is gonna provide some pressure there. They gotta clear all this out after half winning that fight on the side of Infernal, but that Scuttlecrab would spot them out in broad daylight doing the Baron.
Palafox is a little bit low here. They do have triple Ocean Drake, which is awesome in this kind of a situation. It means you don't have to go back to base. You can stay in the field and still regenerate. And that means Ocean, with all their Ocean Drakes, will go for the Baron.
They're saying Victor doesn't have ultimate. They're going to go for this. They're going to start it up, 5,000.
They're daring Infernal to come to this. They don't want to take the 50-50, though.
Oh, but that's the thing, is the base. They don't have TPs. They don't have any of that. They're going to have to wait for this. There's this big wave on topside. That wave might get the inhibitor if left to its own devices for long enough.
Spica's trying to hold aggro on Baron.
Oh, they baited
now Blabberfish goes in. See if maybe they can find anything. Spica gonna be knocked forward. That's not the guy you want. Blabberfish now gonna be taking the damage. Bursted down. Fiora ulti gonna proc damage. Comes through.
Noah!
Find Spica. Noah Most, though, still gonna make something happen. The double kill comes through as a quadra kill for Palafox. Will win the fight.
T-Sum shielded the wrong way again, and the Gragas ultimate goes past him, and it completely destroys the fight and the remaining parts of it. Blabberfish gives away his life for that, and now they're going to push, but it's up against Cake Lord. Half HP here. Ocean Drake will do some work, but can he clear this? There are super minions still left in that wave that took the inhibitor by itself.
So many minions pushing up. 2 solo laners left alive. Cake Lord wants to finish them both off. He's found the damage onto the Azir. Can he find Kaizen? The heroic defenses from Team Infernal are going into the history books today, Zirene. First, it was Noah Most. Then it was Cake Lord. They will never say die on this Infernal team.
Oh, man, this could potentially be the last game. But, I mean, if Infernal are looking like this in this game, holding on tooth and nail, fighting over and over again, they want that next game. They want to show more.
Speaking of more, you can't have much more minions than what you just saw in the bottom lane heading into the Ocean base. Ocean drops their bottom lane inhibitor.
Yeah, watch this from T-Sum. Wrong way on the shield. It hits Spica in, and now he's right in front of them. Cake Lord goes up, Spica then gets charmed and finished off. And then the turn here, they try to get it, but end up
this should advantage. This should be a free Baron.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. They do see Gragas bottom. I don't know. know why he's the one clearing the wave.
Well, Baron in Infernal pockets. 300 gold separates the teams after 48 minutes. This has truly been the long haul of a game. But honestly, I was hoping we got at least one like this today.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is where you really get to see who can make those better decisions as a team in the late game. When you've got 6 items on every champion in the game, it's not about who had the early lead anymore. It's not about who played better in the mid game. It's about who plays right in this fight. And if you can do it, you can win. And if you can't, that's it.
Yeah, it's the coordination. I mean, 3.5 weeks, you aren't going to see a huge amount of coordination either. But it's also those nerves. Like I've said, you want to see players under pressure. And if you're a scout, you want to know what they're going to do. Are they going to make that play? Can they make that play? Can they pull it off like Pie Cake Lord in the base? It's going to be an Elder Dragon. Elder.
They actually do so much damage with the Azir, it doesn't even matter. They're able to find that Elder Drake, but now they got to get back to the base. They'll surely lose the mid lane inhib. They don't want to lose anymore. 2 inhibs to 1 right now. Ping coming down on the side of Ocean on the enemy mid lane inhibitor. They know it's exposed and they know they have Elder Drake.
This is risky.
They want to try to go for this, but their opponents are actually still hanging around in the jungle.
They don't have vision of that topside jungle. When you get to this point where people have 6 items, nobody has those slots for the control wards. You can't ward everything in the game. It is impossible. Now they're going to look for a pick.
This is the one time in the game you won't see them buy 3 control wards every day.
Yeah.
Let's see what they go for. If you take a fight here willingly as Infernal, it has got to be a damn good initiation.
You really want to hit Prismal with this and try to get his Mercurial, or you want to hit Blabberfish.
All right, here they go.
They got Palafox
Comes out onto Palafox, but he's still able to get himself away. They're still fighting a team that's got a 4-dragon Elder Drake. Can they do any more with it? Prismal's able to find 1 kill. They're able to find 3. Can they make it 5? The damage comes through. A critical mistake from Infernal to try to fight an Elder Drake buff team, and that will seal their fate.
That was an insane call. They said, let's go for broke. We're not waiting out this this Elder Dragon. And they say, all right, we make the play. The call on that, not the greatest, but Ocean with the counter, ready for it, anticipating it. And OpTic's Team Ocean will end up in first place after the scouting grounds.
50 minutes in the making, but these guys prove themselves to be an Elder Dragon among elemental drakes and find their win here in the North American Scouting Grounds.
The 2-0. Not able to get revenge on the side of Infernal, but that means that Ocean ends up with a 3-1 match record at the end of the week, at the end of the Scouting Grounds. Team OpTic showing, hey, they know talent when they see it.
That was such a back and forth game. There were so many different points where it was like, surely this team is in control now. Surely this is going to be how the game ends. This will be the tempo that pushes this game past the breaking point. And then it just kept swinging back and forth and back and forth. And it was such a close contest between these 2 squads. In the end of the day, though, it's Ocean that proves they deserve to win. They were the ones who made the right call, and it was Infernal's call, remember, to engage that final fight against a team that had 4 Elemental Drakes with an Elder Dragon buff active. They must have thought that they could have made it happen if they got that right engaged, like you were talking about. Let's go for broke, let's try to hit Prismal. It didn't work, and when it didn't work, the consequences were dire, and Ocean just quickly mopped up the fight.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at that draft that's going to happen after the broadcast in 30 minutes. Be completely up there. But I feel like these members of Team Ocean really showed, that they got what it takes to be on an academy squad. The question is, who needs what in terms of the draft? Who's going to get picked up? Because at the end of the day, I do feel like with 10 spots, well, right off the bat, getting everybody drafted from a single team would be really strange.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like that's what you would expect, just because there are so many good players on every different team.
But they had a hell of a showing during the scouting grounds. The 3-1 record is really going to make a lot of them look really good. And I got to say, there are some diamonds in the rough there. And when you're looking at somebody like Palafox, and you go, this guy doesn't really seem to have any prior experience, that's something that you can work with if you have a team with a good infrastructure, and you can really kind of make him come into his own, because his CS was good, his basics were really good, and then he showed
his clutch.
And his clutch, his playmaking, his the moment that he was able to kind of take control of that, and he wasn't afraid to make that play. That's what I like to see.
I like to see that. I like to see Kaizen keep cool the entire game, deal with that Fiora so well. You're up against a guy who's known for playing Fiora. You're up against a guy who his trademark is playing these champions, and you've got to deal with him, and the guy does it wonderfully.
Remember when I said early on, hey, there's these people who just say, I don't play that champion, right? If I can't play Ornn and I got a blue side bandit, I'm hurting my team. If you're somebody who says, you can leave his Fiora up, that's fine. That's something that helps your team. You earn your team a ban if you can really relieve that pressure. And we saw Kaizen do that today.
Kaizen had an awesome performance. We got to see Palafox's insane Azir ulti in the Baron pit to save the game, keep things alive. The rest of the team performing solidly as well. You saw Blabberfish get a lot of those initiations that, like you were talking about, made it so Noah Most wasn't relevant for the first large part of the game.
Yeah, and then we saw his steal earlier on from Blabberfish, and then even Prismal, right?
Yep.
Had some standout performances there earlier, and Vulcan. I mean, that bottom lane in game 1 was smashing.
Yeah, bottom lane destroyed things in game 1.
Yeah.
So this whole team honestly should be incredibly proud of what they accomplished and what they've done and just how well they came together as a squad over the course of these 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, only criticism I have of Kaizen is that he changed his name from Max Waldo. So it's harder to make the Where's Waldo joke.
If that's the best criticism that a guy can get, then I'd say you're pretty well off, right? That's like saying, I didn't like his shoes.
Yeah.
His shoes weren't doing it for me. I didn't like those very much. But if that's the worst thing that you got, then you're doing all right for yourself. And I think Ocean, at the end of the day, going 3-1, having the best record at Scouting Grounds, and the individual players all looking good. I don't think you're going to look at any one player on that team and say, no, he got carried.
Yeah.
No, he was just, he was there. It was the other 4 guys, and he was kind of tagging along.
Yeah.
I don't think that about any of these players that I've watched so far. I think it was a coherent 5-man effort, and they played very, very well.
And they all buy their control wards.
They all buy their control wards. If you take nothing else from this, learn to buy your control wards when you go back to base. But for a first-hand account, let's hear from Avli and Ocean's jungler.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Team Ocean's Blabberfish. Please run me through the end of that game because it was going so back and forth at one point. What was going on through your team comms and what was happening?
Yeah, so when we saw that Fiora towered over Shen, like at full HP with no minions, we were like, oh shit, okay, we probably have to force. So when they traded us Elder for the inhib, we were like, I think we just win. We just pushed out mid S5 and forced a fight, and we won the fight, so.
Did it take a while for your guys as a team to come together and figure out communications coming in as like solo queue players?
Yeah, it was actually really hard. So at the beginning, me and Christian Palafox, we had like pretty bad communication around mid, and our warding was actually very suboptimal. But I think as scouting runs went along, we got a lot better communicating, especially me with Vulcan, me with Palafox. So I think it helped me a lot.
What was the difference, or tell me about playing with all of this amazing talent at Scouting Grounds on the big LCS stage? What was that like for you?
It was actually really nerve-wracking. I haven't actually played on a stage this big before. So I was kind of nervous, but I was really looking forward to showing that I'm the best.
Well, you won, so I mean, you're the best with that. And I want to ask you, just this entire experience participating in Scouting Grounds, meeting with coaches, and having this full team infrastructure, how has that helped you improve and grow as a player?
So the coaching staff for OpTic, at least, because that's the team that represents Ocean that helped me the most. Their head coach, Zabutin, he's really funny, and he actually helped us a lot, especially when he brought in Acadian. Acadian and him both helped us a lot with our macro knowledge. Yeah, so I really liked it, and I liked meeting all the other orgs too. So it was a really enjoyable time.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this interview, and congratulations. We're going to throw it on over to our friends at the analyst desk.
Hey, thank you very much, Avli. Congratulations to Blabberfish and Team Ocean for taking the victory over at the Scouting Grounds. And we had a former Team Ocean alumni here also taking a win.
Did me proud, won the finals again.
All right, I think that we have to go ahead and take a quick look. Kaizen pulled himself a Jace ban, and now this time he's able to perform on Shen, and his Shen was pretty honorable.
He's a player who has a couple of defined strengths. He's really good at Jace, and he's really good at Shen. And I think you saw that pretty early on. A lot of the early action was kind of keyed off his plays. He was able to join in a bot lane skirmish early on, survived a 2v1 dive on the top side, and he was kind of the catalyst for why they built their lead.
Right, and there was a long kind of negotiating period where all the teams are kind of feeling each other out, getting vision, but we finally have our first replay here, the Ocean Baron team fight, and it was a big Azir ultimate, but it all starts with Vulcan.
And for the most part, Ocean have been doing a good job around neutral objectives. They messed up initially, but then a huge engage by Vulcan, perfectly followed up by Palafox to set up a massive team fight, punished them instantly for getting that Baron, and that's the kind of stuff you've been seeing out of Vulcan a lot. That's why he was the first pick overall for Team Ocean, and he really performed on the Recon pick, which has so much playmaking potential.
Right, that was someone that you had pinned as like a standout so far in Vulcan.
Yeah, Vulcan just overall, I've laid with him, great player, knows when to engage. His mechanics are really good, and like he probably made the call to like go in, and you saw like everyone like had no hesitation. Prismal, like the AD flashed into the back of a Baron pit, like they all just went in, and like it worked out because everyone was on the same page and they knew what they had to do.
And speaking of communication, after talking with OpTic for a little bit, it did seem like the shot calling was coming from Blabber and Vulcan in the early game, Prismal in the later game to carry them past the mid game into late game, and you saw that with that flash forward in the engage. However, one time where they needed a little bit more help in communication was the big play in this game, Noah Most with the pentakill for Team Infernal on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, so at this point in the game, you're like, okay, the game is finally over. It's just finished. But they caught out Victor. They kill Sejuani, and then everyone gets hyphy. Prismal flashes in, and then just a bunch of feathers reels in, and it just absolutely decimates the enemy team. And then easy picking here. Everyone's low HP, and then he finally gets the pentakill.
Great job there holding on to his Featherstorm for exactly the right moment and was able to escape unscathed and gets himself a penta. Surprised that the team didn't pull out from something like that. What's going through your mind as you're sieging in? You're almost done. You feel like the victory's right there. What do you think happened in those comms there?
Well, they're probably all like super excited. I mean, everyone, including us, thought the game was over just by the way it looked. So they were probably all just flashing in like, oh, we finally did it. We're winning the game. And then they didn't realize that Zaya still had ult and full HP and 6 items. So it was pretty rough for them. But they're probably just really excited, and the excitement probably got to them at the last moment. So.
Right. And this game had a bunch of back and forth. One of them then after this, we think the base defense, yes, it was a great base defense, but maybe things are done. Not so much here. The replay here at the Baron. Yet another Baron fight and another Palafox big time as 0.
This was one where there was a lot of like subtle things that went right and wrong. First, Braum shield the wrong way, allows the knockback in, but they don't get a kill. Gragas gets pulled in, and Victor's going to drop a lot of damage here right away. And it's going to chunk out the front line, but then he's going to go way too far forward, ends up flashing in, which goes right into the Azir. He's able to get the double knockback onto both carries, as the Zaya had also floated in off her ultimate, and that allows Palafox to get the cleanup kill. Triple Ocean Dragon starts regenning him, so they think they can end the game, but that's not the case.
Not so much, young man. And here it is, Pie Cake Lord putting on his big boy shoes and his big boy pants saying, hop on in, guys. We have a little bit more game to play. That was a big, big play, and all of us here, we're getting ready. You're like, okay, it looks like game's over. Let's get back into the desk.
The amount of times we pushed our chairs in to be like, it's time to get up for the desk.
Nope,
we sit
not
back
quite.
down.
Huge, huge play there. And finally, the game-ending play. It was just a huge lead. The Elder Dragon heading on over to Ocean. Infernal calling the last play here.
Yeah, basically what happened here was that Team Infernal just got a little bit too excited with the Sejuani ult, and they just got cleaned up trying to overextend into the backline. All the carries on Team Ocean just took them all out. They were untouched. It was just an overextension by Team Infernal, and it was a really easy fight to win.
Yeah, and Captain Flowers was touching it in the broadcast. It's tough, right? You're running out of options. The other team has Elder Dragon. You're running out of objectives, and you got to pull the trigger at some point. But someone's got to speak up and say, hey, you know, they have 4 Drakes, and one of them, like 3 of them are Ocean, one of them is Infernal. Maybe this isn't the best idea.
They have like their own Drake. They have 3 Ocean Drakes in their Team Ocean. They're just, I mean, there's no way you're going to win that fight.
It's just the nerves thing coming up again. They just took double inhibs. You have this brush camp going on. They don't face check it, and rather than say, all right, they didn't face check the brush, they go for like a max range engage, as opposed to just saying, well, we can just go topside instead after we clear this wave out.
So overall, from this series, how do you guys feel like some of these players fared? Obviously, this last game was a bit of a party in all the lanes, especially as it gets to the late game. But what are some of your big takeaways from this matchup?
Well, I'd say someone that stood out to me the most was probably Vulcan, alongside with Palafox. Their engages, or Vulcan's engage rather, was just super clean almost always, and Palafox followed up almost every time just extremely well in my opinion. So I'd say I have to give it to Vulcan, as well as they were winning lane pretty much all the time, had pressure the entire game. So
how about yourself, Zach?
Yeah, I think just Team Ocean, like out of all the teams as well, just they looked the most, like they had the most synergy together. They looked, no one was making hero plays. No one was like off
except
doing.
for at the end.
True, a little at the end.
I would
but
say
like in the early game, they were everything seemed like methodical, and like towards the end, yeah, they made some hyphy plays, but
Yeah.
You know, I think Team Ocean Drake overall, they had, like, their early game was better. Their bot lane, OpTic's bot lane, was getting CS leads, and they were usually breaking. Their first turret was usually broken through bottom lane. So I think OpTic or Team Ocean had like a really good bot lane, and they transitioned their lead really well with it.
And we had touched upon the fact that it seemed like the teams flipped their play style. This time, Piecake Lord getting to play the split pusher, Kaizen having to absorb the pressure. He did a good job. What are your thoughts on that there?
Yeah, I think Kaizen kind of solidified that, like, when he's on his best champs, he is a standout player. Just being able to withstand the clear game plan of TSM's team here, where they take the Fiora and they try and gank it, being able to do that while keep up the macro play, making sure he's ulting in on his team and protecting them when they get engaged on. He was another guy. I think all of OpTic kind of stood out at different parts over the course of the series.
Yeah, speaking with their management, it sounded like they would be surprised if all the players wouldn't be in the Academy League next year, and they definitely proved that today. Now let's take a moment to highlight a player who earned our Player of the Series. It's a guy that Wiggly was talking about. It's Vulcan at the support role for Team Ocean.
No surprise, really. A lot of the early game stuff was keyed off of his plays. The enemy teams would try and punish their aggressive playstyle in the bot lane, but they would outplay them. This was an example where they got the Shen ult to come in and help protect them. And once the game started slipping out of control, he was the guy who brought it back.
What I liked about this so far and his gameplay was that throughout the week, I got to hear about how much he brought to the team, how much he brought in terms of communication, and I got to see it finally here in mechanics, where he was like, this is when we go, this is how we go, and we're going to land our skills, and it led to huge fights for his team.
Yeah, I think it's just really impressive overall that he's able to be one of the main shot callers for his team and still show up in these team fights, like really huge pressure moments, first time on stage, finals of, you know, his first finals ever, so he got to finish just a really good game off, so I was really proud of that. Team Ocean.
Yeah,
There's nothing the same between the 2 years, but, you know, still
Liquid and OpTic.
It's all about the Drake at the end of the day.
There it is. It's all about the Drake. So with that, the games might be over, but the show will go on, because coming up next is the first ever North American Scouting Grounds draft, where the 10 LCS organizations will have an opportunity to obtain exclusive rights to a player before the 2018 season. Teams have been given 30 minutes since the end of today's matches to review their options, and the first pick will be due in just about 20 minutes. So hang tight, and we'll get to you in just a few minutes. We're going to take a short break, but as the teams deliberate, but when we come back, we'll be back soon to discuss our thoughts on the draft. Stick around. The 2017 North American Scouting Grounds will continue after this.